Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about a topic I always get in my DM. It's always, I don't eat enough protein, I don't know how to eat enough, I don't know why should I eat enough, how much protein should I get? So I figured I was gonna give you a little bit of a crash course on how protein works, why we eat protein, what quality, answering a little bit of your questions, and how much, when, and all of that. Also, for those who don't know me, hi, my name is Flo. I'm a certified personal trainer, and my mission is basically to help you reach your dream body the healthy, the sustainable way. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The first thing I wanted to touch on is why protein? Because we hear so much about it, but we don't really know why. So, first thing first, it's because they are necessary for growth and for maintenance, especially of all your cells, most specifically your skin, your hair, your bones, your nails, and of course your muscles. So if you're trying to grow that figure, you may want to get started on getting enough protein. So protein also happens to be the last thing used by the body when it needs energy. So if you don't give it enough carbs, if you don't give it enough fat, if you're severely under eating, it will go for the protein in the muscles, hence why you can experience muscle loss if you undereat for a long period of time. Of course, proteins are necessary for muscle growth and general muscle maintenance. If you're someone who goes to the gym and wants to build muscles, you are obviously interested in getting enough protein. It also happens to be very filling. The amount of clients who've told me once we've actually increased their protein intake, so as soon as they start working with me, that they have less cravings and happen to be less hungry is insane. So yeah, if you're on a fat loss journey, or just if you've been experiencing a lot of cravings and you want to be a little bit healthier, eating enough protein will do the trick. And that's basically because your body needs the amino acids contained in the protein, okay? If you break down protein, that's what you find. And they have, I never know if it's 9 or 11, essential amino acids. They are essential for a reason, meaning that your body can't produce them. And if you can't produce them, you have to eat it, right? Whether it's through food or supplements. Point being that it's going to make you stay hungry and crave food. It doesn't have a button for please eat more protein. It only has a button for please eat more food. Hence why you may feel hungry. If you don't eat enough protein, your body will still say, please eat food, even if you're way above your maintenance in terms of calories. So there is that. Now, let's move on to how much protein do we need? And that is going to depend on your goal. For fat loss, it's recommended to get at least 1.2 up to 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. I used to say 1.2 to 1.8, but I think you can safely go to up to 2. There is no bad side to eating a little bit too much of protein. And the reason behind that is if you're on the fat loss phase, that means you're in a deficit. So you have less carbs and less fat, and therefore your body has less energy to consume lying around. So if it doesn't, the importance of getting enough protein to make sure you maintain your muscles in a deficit so you end up lean and toned is way more important. So that's why you want to be on the upper end of getting enough protein. And if you work out, you may even want to go 2.4 gram of protein per kilo of body weight. Quick mention before anyone jumps from getting 70 grams of protein to 170, don't necessarily do that, because you may experience digestive upset, I guess. I don't know if that's the exact word. Your body doesn't like huge changes, so I would go in increment, maybe 10 grams per 10 grams every few days, every few weeks, just to make sure that you're not, disrupting what's going on inside. Let's talk about muscle growth, because some of you are actually interested in that. In that case, you also go to the gym, you may want to go 1.8 to 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. By the way, quick example, let's say you're 70 kilos, that would mean that you would need to consume 140 grams of protein per day for, in that case, muscle growth, and also for on the upper end of weight loss. And now I will link a study down below, but just for optimal health, it is suggested to get from 1 gram to 1.6 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. And if you happen to also exercise, you want to be a bit more towards the upper end of this range. So I'll link a couple of studies down below just so you know that I'm not taking random numbers out of my magic hat. Now, I know that one of the biggest concerns is how do I get enough protein? How do I time it? And so on. So let me answer a few questions. I want to start with saying that it doesn't really matter when you're getting your protein. It's more of a matter of you getting enough protein throughout the day. I would suggest trying to get between 20 and maybe 40 grams of protein every meal, spread out between 3 to 5 meals. And if you manage to do that, you would easily reach your protein goals. And you know, when it comes to pre and post workout, I always suggest trying to have like every snack and meal be composed of a protein, a carb, and a fat. Okay, that's the best way to actually feel full, have all the benefits, and you know, it's just easier to try to have everything. But if you must pick and choose, I would suggest having carbs before the workout and trying to have protein right after. But again, in the ideal world, I would say always try to have fat, protein, and carbs for every snack and meal, just because it makes life so much easier. Now let's talk about protein powder for a second, because not all of them are created equals. And I'm just gonna, this is not sponsored yet, but I really recommend the Body and Fit brand when it comes to protein powder, in terms of quality, in terms of price as well, and also in terms of taste, which is super important if you consume it every day. With the point being that it's best to have protein comes from natural source, but I don't have anything to say to people saying, well, I rely on protein powder a lot. Like, it's fine. At the end of the day, you could always try to improve that, but if that's where you're starting with, I'm not gonna say you have to change your entire diet and let's go for lean meat and whatever. Like, no. You just want to make sure it's a good ratio of protein per calories, and also it tends to be lower on the sugar side. And I'm just mentioning the brand, by the way, because I know that you're gonna ask. I'm going to try to add a table just for you to know what food has more protein than others, because peanut butter and eggs don't have that much protein compared to lean meat, for example, and fish, right? So you don't really want to rely on eggs for the protein, because it's like 6, maybe 8 grams of protein per egg, when you could have so much more with just lean meat and easily target 30 grams. Also, a point being that you want to be mindful of how much calories per 100 grams of food, because peanut butter has a lot of calories for not that much food, because it's mostly fat. We can't say peanut butter is high in protein. It's mostly fat, okay? It's high in fat, it's high in calories, and to get close to the 20 grams of protein, you would need an insane amount of calories that you don't really want to get from peanut butter. Like, I eat peanut butter on a daily basis, but it counts as my fat, okay? It doesn't count as my protein. But let's talk about supplements for a second. We talked about the protein powder, so I'm not going to talk about that, but I wanted to talk about, you know, the BCAA and leucine and so on. Leucine is one of the most important amino acids that you will hear about, mostly because it's highly contributing to muscle growth, and as I said, essential means your body can't create it, so it needs you to eat it somehow. I want to mention the fact that whey protein tends to have a lot more leucine than any of the other animal protein and protein in general out there, hence why I don't really feel like you shouldn't eat protein powder. It's really handy, has a very good ratio of protein and essential amino acids compared to the calories, depending on the brand you pick. Then we have chicken, then eggs, soybean, and peas. It's good to know that animal source of protein contains more protein and leucine than the non-animal one, especially per calories. So you want to be mindful of that. Point being, I don't think you need supplements if you manage to get your amount of protein right. So if you get enough protein, you don't need to go out of your way to buy BCAA, to buy specifically leucine. Especially if it's quality protein, which we're going to talk about in a second, because the higher quality protein, the better. Obviously, the higher the quality, the easier it is to get your protein and then all the essential amino acids as well. I ask on my Instagram stories, again, if you don't follow me, you definitely should, because I share my entire life on there. I ask you all in my stories to ask me questions specifically about protein, so I'm going to go over the ones that I selected. We didn't have many because I ended up answering most of them in the video. So let's go. What if I don't eat meat? The thing you want to do if you don't eat meat at all is combine vegetable protein sources. So for example, grains and pulses or dairy, veggies and nuts or seeds, pulses and nuts or seeds. Of course, you can also very much benefit from having a high quality vegan protein, but the reason why I'm saying you have to kind of mix the sources of protein is because non-animal sources of protein don't have in one food all the amino acids necessary. So you want to combine them to try to get a little bit of leucine there and all the rest, and lysine, I never know all of them, but you get the point. So that's why you want to have like a combination of the protein in the non-animal food, so you can have all the amino acids necessary. Next question, is getting too much protein dangerous? No. I link a study below, but no, it's not dangerous, and it's actually so hard to even get the right amount of protein, like to get enough of it, that I don't think you'll be in the way too much in a dangerous way, and it's not even dangerous, okay? So you're good. So next question is, there are all kinds of protein out there, but what's best for weight loss? So I'm guessing I'm going to talk about quality of the protein, right? So high quality protein often means that it has all essential amino acids, that it's highly, digestible by the body. It's often, if not always, coming from an animal source. Now, if we're talking about, the standards quality that you find in a supermarket, I would say, I think it's called prime, like prime beef or whatever in the US, like by the USDA. So that would be the highest quality of meat that you'd find, and often the highest quality of meat that you would find is the highest quality of protein as well. Just in terms of food in general, I would start with talking about fish. So you've got salmon, tuna, and white fish are great. Then when it comes to meat, we've got red meat and poultry. Then you've got dairy, and you also have the famous egg. But as I said, 6 to 8 grams of protein per egg. So, unless you're eating a solid 20 eggs per day, you can't rely on just that for protein. And when we're talking about eggs, you want to go for the organic, pasture raised. Lucky to have that at home, so I'm not sure about like in supermarket, but I think it's the grade AA that would be the highest quality of eggs, and therefore of protein and in said eggs. And when it comes to the plant-based, we have quinoa and soy. That would be the highest quality of protein. I have a last minute question that I just saw on Instagram, basically asking, will I lose muscle if I eat protein but don't weight lift? There is a very important mention that I should have made at the beginning, that more protein doesn't equal muscle growth unless you're also training the muscles and also trying to actually grow it through weightlifting. So I don't think much about muscle loss if you're not exercising but eating enough, like not being in a crazy deficit. The muscle loss happens if you are in a big deficit, okay? And even then, I would still recommend to try to get some sort of strength training in there, just because we lose muscle mass as we age, and it gets more dangerous, and you have a bigger likelihood of injury when you get old. And that's why I think it's really important to start early to do weightlifting and strength training, just to actually protect your muscle mass and reduce the muscle loss that will happen as we grow old. Okay, I think that was pretty much it for today. If you have any additional questions, make sure to comment them down below so I can answer them all. And if you're someone who wants to lose 20 plus pounds within 90 days without starving yourself, without spending hours on the treadmill, hours cooking, and of course, without gaining the weight back right after the process is over, I highly suggest you book a call with me down below. We will talk about whether or not you're a good fit for the program, if I can actually help you get transformation like myself and like my clients. So, why not you? That was pretty much the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like it, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.